Hello, everyone. Welcome to خطوة podcast. Today we have a special guest. Her name is Sara Teymor. She is the CEO and co-founder of Amused. So let's get to know more about you and let's talk about fashion.
Amazing. My favorite or our favorite topic.
Yes. Can you please introduce yourself, Sara?
Yes. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast today. My name is Sara. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, and I am the founder of Amused. Amused is a platform created to connect buyers and sellers to authenticated luxury fashion. We are serving Saudi Arabia. Essentially, what our business does is if you have a luxury item you no longer need, then we can help you find a new home for that item.
Amazing.
And above everything else, I'm just a girl and I love fashion.
Exactly.
Right. So that's why we're here today.
Honestly, this is so amazing. I mean, this business is, especially nowadays, now with the vision in Saudi and with all the changes in the fashion scene in KSA. So I think you came in the right time. But let's get to know more about Amused. And I'm going to ask you several questions. And I think we have a lot to talk about.
We do.
Okay, so let's start. What inspired you to introduce the concept of pre-loved fashion in Saudi Arabia specifically?
Honestly, it started with me. I moved to Saudi after I got married, and I was looking for a way to clear out my closet. Yes. I wanted access to a lot of luxury items which didn't exist here.
Yes.
The way I like to shop is not necessarily based on trends. I love finding pieces that have a story. Yes. Those items resonate with me more than anything else.
Exactly.
So I really started it as a side hustle. I had a business already, and it was an Instagram page that I started selling my own items.
Yeah.
And
I remember you told me that was during, I think, I don't know, was it during COVID or?
Yes, so it was just before COVID. And once we saw that people were responding to the Instagram page, we did a market research study. Yes. We asked our friends and family, and they actually wanted to be involved. They had so many items that they no longer needed. There is a huge gifting culture here, or just, you know,
That's
our
true.
closets have so many pieces from a long time ago that not necessarily we're using anymore. And when I started to ask people, you know, what do they do with the items that they're no longer using, the answers I got really surprised me. And it was that they would either wait until they traveled, taking the items with them to sell them in another country.
Yes, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Because as you know, we don't have this concept here, but honestly, I think it's, you know, we're starting this now.
Yes.
So honestly, this is amazing, what you did. And this is like a very, I think, what do you say, a very good movement at this time in KSA.
That's for sure.
Yes. So do you feel the Saudi market was ready for this idea when you started?
I think Saudi market and Saudi consumers have always loved fashion and luxury. That's something that is deeply embedded in their wardrobes and in their lifestyles.
Exactly.
So it wasn't that a matter of readiness. It was more of a fact that this didn't exist here. So that knowledge was not available. This idea of this is the way we can do things, this is another option, was not existing.
Yes. True.
So I think you just got to start, right? And we started organically with the Instagram account. And when we saw customers start to come to us and want us to sell their items, we started to take it a lot more seriously.
Yes.
And that's when, you know, as well, I was seeing the items from Saudi owners was so interesting because of the way that we socialize here. It's a lot in houses, so the items stay in really great conditions. Not in like when we lived in London, or you know, the way you socialize is mostly going out. You'd leave your bag gosh, and you know, on a table somewhere.
Exactly,
and
yes.
here everything is really looked after, and we have bigger wardrobe sizes as well. So the items,
As you said also, sorry to interrupt you, but a lot of people have these items. Maybe they're gifted, like from the family members or from her grandmother or from her aunt. As you said, we have a very large like gifting way in how, like, you know, in Eid and special occasions. So that's why maybe you find some pieces, as you said, as they're not even worn or being used.
Yes, exactly. With their boxes, brand new conditions, it's just not their style, you know.
Yes.
And they would rather have that money, the liquidity to do something else with it, something that they really want.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Okay, let's go to the other question. How did your personal style and lifestyle influence this business?
I think as a founder, or if you are creating your career, it is very deeply personal to who you are and the values that you have. There is no way you can separate those two from the business. So for me, I was always very conscious about the way that I would buy fashion and the pieces that I had in my closet. I think growing up in London, you had access to these vintage secondhand stores, you know, so that was always a part of the culture there.
Yes.
And, you know, growing up, maybe you would have smaller closet sizes, you would have more of a capsule wardrobe. I just grew up with that sort of a mentality. So I didn't necessarily have a lot of items, but I had more considered pieces. And I was never really into trends. I just loved what I loved. And those stories.
So you're more into like a classic vintage style.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think this is the style that's like, I think you find it more and more common. And also it's like something that like you would also inherit for your, you know, for your daughters, for your sisters, whatever, you know. I always say classic pieces always, like, they win, you know, classic and vintage pieces.
Yeah. That's so true. They're timeless for that word is there for a reason, right? I wasn't always like this when I was younger, you know, you'd go out so much, but I think as you grow older, you become much more conscious as a person.
And become more picky in the way you choose items.
For sure, that's true. For sure. So, you know, I think I just started to consider the way I consume, the way I wear fashion differently, and that started to show up, you know, in, I guess, a business that I created. And I just like unique things. I love beautiful things, and I see that the older items are always the items that are the most beautiful. If you see the, you know, those Chanel pieces from 10 years ago, they have the 24 karat gold. That is a real investment.
I think the craftsmanship was different. The way, as you said, there's a story behind it. I mean, now because, you know, the fast fashion, we're going to get to that part, by the way. So we have many things to talk about. But as you said, I mean, the pieces were so unique, the craftsmanship, how they were like done. Like, I mean, now it's just different.
That's for sure. And I guess, you know, another reason is price consciousness. You know, I speak to my friends, and even, you know, you go into the stores and you see the price of the Chanel flap is like 50,000 Saudi Riyal. I mean, how often can you buy one of those? You know, you look at the items 10 years ago, they're made better, they're much better affordability. So that's why, you know, this business just, you know, happened and it took off, and people saw the value in it.
Yes, of course.
It's hard not to, you know, if you love fashion. Then it makes sense.
And now it's all about, we're in a world about, like, you know, being conscious, as you said, in sustainability. That's really important.
Absolutely.
Yes. And I think we have to teach that to the generations after us before any, like, these are some concepts that they have to, like, learn.
Definitely. I think Vision 2030 is really pushing that as well. It's coming from that national level, and it's going into the schools, and it's you know, it's also always been a part of our culture. I mean, you know, my mom would always tell me, Sarah, haram, don't turn the lights off when you leave the room, don't leave the water running.
Yes.
This is embedded in us, not
These
to
are
waste.
really good values, by the way, very good values, honestly.
They're existing in our culture. We just didn't know how to bring it into maybe different areas. Those options weren't there. So
and waste, how many waste are we gonna just,
of course,
in a world that's, as you said, so growing so fast. So I think Amused helped us in all ways.
Oh, thank you.
Especially in the fashion industry, the handbags, as you said. And let's talk about now the local market. From the local market angle. In Saudi culture, people often love new and luxury items. Did you navigate that mindset with pre-loved fashion?
I see that newness, it is a concept that can be carried into any item that you're buying for the first time. Just because it's coming from a factory, and you're the first person owning
it's new and
it doesn't make that newer than, what is that concept? Let's change it. If you buy something from Amused, you are new to that item. So I think it's just about changing that idea of
mindset.
That idea of what that means. And again, luxury is something that is very considered in the culture here, in every single place. Even the way that when you go and entertain, and it's really considered luxury from every aspect, and I think that is what luxury is. It's an experience, and it's in the details. And I think if you can carry that into anything you are creating, that becomes luxury, right?
Exactly. As you said, about the topic that why do you think that this is a new item? So, for example, I have as a stylist, and I have my VIP clients, and so I have a client who told me, I have this piece, I got it as a gift, but I don't want it. So as you said, some pieces are just never used, and they were just there in the closet. So they might as well, make use of it, either sell it, or maybe they can just exchange it with something at Amused. So do you do exchanging items? You do that?
We do not do exchanging items. Creating the infrastructure to support that right now is not something we're focused on. But I think it's a really interesting way of doing things. It's all about keeping these items in a circle, in circularity, keeping them within our ecosystem. All the things we've ever bought are out there. Where are they? What are they doing? These were the questions that I was asking, when we were creating Amused. So I think that there is a really important concept here that we need to bring into our mindsets,
and to the culture. And I think they're starting up now. As you said, in UK and in London and even in Paris, they have a lot of vintage stores, and they do reselling of luxury items, and it's well known there. But for us here, I think the mindset now is becoming more open to this kind of idea, which is
for sure
very good. Okay, did you face hesitation from customers in the beginning? And how did you build trust? I mean, that is something very important, I guess, especially with the high-end brands and the authentication of the pieces.
Of course. I mean, our business is a trust business. If the trust is not there, our items are high-value items. Average order value is around 4,000, 5,000 Saudi riyal. That's a lot that a customer is paying. So there has to be a lot of trust that goes in to buying an item, especially in e-commerce. You're not necessarily seeing it for the first time either. So as soon as we launched the business, even before, we went to New York and we met this team that had created a artificial intelligence system to authenticate items. And I think we were one of the first, if not the first, to bring that to Saudi and to use it here for what we're doing. They offer a 99 point something %
Yes.
verification rate, and they are used with governments, and they're approved by them. UAE government has approved this as a authentication device for them, because I think authentication is essentially the core of our business.
Exactly.
That's what we have to do as Amused. We have to make sure what we're selling is the actual item.
Exactly.
That's what we're doing for the customers.
And the real one, not the fake one. I mean, with all these, like, how it is, it's very, very hard.
Of course.
So,
when we first started, again, it was a new concept here, and we would go to these events and people would be like, are these, grade 1 fakes that you're selling? And we would need to explain this.
Exactly.
And this is something that, we are now working on more and more as our customers grow. This is one of the first questions that is asked.
I'm
How
sure.
do we know that it's real? And I if I have an item that passes through our hands and it's not authentic, that's our whole reputation at stake.
I'm sure.
So it's something we take incredibly seriously. And going back to the first part of your question about hesitation.
Yes.
I'm just someone who doesn't take no for an answer. And I saw the value of our business. It's not that it's a completely new concept. It's proven around the world.
Around the world, yes.
If you're a fashion lover and you understand the values, you will understand why this business is great for you.
Exactly.
So
True.
I didn't see that there was a barrier. It was more of a education gap and that trust connection that we had to find.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The trust is, I think, as you said, I mean, your business is built on trust. So that's the most important thing. But this thing that it's like, is it something that there's a whole process, as you said, to authenticate the piece itself? I mean, it's such a hassle, I'm sure. I mean, you have a whole staff and all to just go through each item.
Yes. So we have, I still feel you cannot rely 100% on AI. So there is the human and the AI verification process that happens. I find it very interesting. I'm, I guess, a bit of a nerd as well. So I really enjoy bringing in the science, the data to whatever you're doing. And this is, this tool that we have has a microscopic lens. It zooms in on the material. And I think even if you're a fashion lover, you'll really enjoy to learn about how the item is made.
Exactly. I would love that. I'm going to visit you.
Yeah, I'm gonna
do that with you one day.
Authenticate with us. Come and have a look at the process, and you really understand why these items have the value they have because of how detailed each area of that item is to create the craftsmanship. Like you said, that's what you're getting with a luxury item.
And the details, everything.
And if you look closely enough, those things cannot be duplicated. The fakes are extremely sophisticated these days, but still looking deep into the item, knowing even, where the logo is, the weight, the size of each letters.
Exactly.
It's
and even sometimes they say the thread that they use inside for the leather. I mean, all these details. So many details.
It
but
is
I'm sure I sense that you enjoy this process.
Yes, I do. Honestly, we're really lucky. I think we talk so much about the authentication process. We haven't seen a huge amount of fake items yet. But you do get, sometimes a customer who sells like 10 and then one item is fake. She didn't even know, It was just, it was, maybe it was a gift. Or you even see in Hermes a couple of years ago, there was a case where they were selling fake items.
I heard that. Yes, of course.
So, nothing is guaranteed.
Nothing is guaranteed, as you said. Yeah, that's true. So have you noticed a shift in how Saudi women perceive secondhand fashion today? I think this is something like an important question.
Can I flip the question and ask you what you think is a Saudi woman?
I think nowadays it's becoming something like more like, I don't want to say trendy, but because we have a lot of celebrities, I'm sure you, when you see like, all these red carpet events abroad, you have celebrities who wear vintage items, and they say, I mean, I don't know if you noticed, like a couple of years ago, Angelina Jolie, she had an earring that she got. It was from a vintage store, and she bought a dress that was only maybe I think $100 from a vintage store because she loved it. And so I think nowadays, with all this fashion movement here in Saudi, people are starting maybe to, a bit, open to this kind of, as you said, secondhand. And as you said, I'm sure also at Amused, you're not going to sell pieces that are like damaged or just like, been like thrown in the street or something. Yeah. I'm sure that they're very clean items, very well taken care of. And you saw how like most of the Saudi women, they just take good care of their items. Yeah. Honestly, myself, I have my wedding dress until now. It's been years back, but also I have some like shoes, dresses. I have my engagement dress. It's taken care of. It's in a case. So I really love my items and take care of them. So the concept of, the second hand, I think maybe it's new to our culture, but I hope, with all what's happening in the world and, being conscious and sustainability. But how do you, from your side, as the Amused owner, how do you feel Saudi women are like, how do you feel their mentality is becoming?
I moved here almost 8 years ago, and I saw just some of the changes that were happening. Yes. I saw this movement of empowerment that is happening for women here, and I see that there is a different perceived value on money because a lot of women are working now more than ever, and the cost of things are going up, So I see that there is a more investment mindset happening, and there always as well has been, because if you see the closets here, there are a lot of collectors. Yes. They've collected items, so they've had that vision already, and now it's trickling down into all types of people.
Exactly. Yes, that's true.
I feel that as well, women love to express themselves through their accessories here. The nice handbags, nice pair of shoes,
jewelry, a piece of jewelry.
Yes, exactly. And these are investments that happen in these areas. So I see that there's an investment mindset that has really becoming more and more important in women. I see that the kind of young consumers, they are like a big part of our customer base as well. And the younger consumers really do care about what is the story of that brand, who am I buying from.
I've noticed that, as you said, because my daughter lived in London, and she told me, she's like, Mama, all my friends, they shop from vintage stores, and there are very well-known vintage stores in UK and in London specifically, and they sell very good, nice items. So I think the younger generation are more open to this kind of, idea, maybe more than the older generation.
But it's really interesting. I think I mentioned this to you when we met, but it's now we see the situs, they sell those pieces that maybe it's just not practical for them anymore.
Exactly,
they want something that is comfortable to hold, or a crossbody.
Yes.
And so they have these fabulous vintage pieces in their closets, and those are the pieces the Gen Zs are buying.
Yes, yeah.
So it's really amazing to see that kind of circle happening.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's a huge movement happening.
And change in the mindset.
Definitely.
Especially as you said, sorry to interrupt you, but Saudi women now are working. They're more aware of how that item, as you said, all the high-end brands, just name all the names, because each piece is like how much. So now the woman is more conscious about how she wants to spend her money. She's working. And as you said, I think life and the whole environment is changing.
Definitely. And, the more exposure we have now to things like social media, there's so much information out there all the time in our face.
Exactly.
And like you said, these it's influencers or the celebrities, they are championing that movement. Bella Hadid has an amazing like vintage collection.
Yeah.
Look at the Kardashians, they're always speaking about the vintage pieces.
Exactly, yes,
They're buying the Hermes pieces, most of them are vintage, and they are really championing these things. So, that information is coming back to us, and we're saying, let's try. We understand, we're seeing the value of it.
Yes, yeah. There's a big value in this, yeah. Okay, so let's talk about now sustainability in KSA. Sustainability is becoming a big topic globally, but how do you see it evolving here in Saudi?
I see that Saudi is really taking this at the forefront of a lot of their strategies and their policies. I mean, a big part of Vision 2030 is about sustainable development. If you see a lot of buildings that are being built, even with the engineering, it is very focused on bringing those principles of like LEED or BREEAM, which are international certifications for sustainability. There is even circularity, which is one of the agendas for Vision 2030.
Yes, that's true.
We were awarded the Caring Generation Award last year from the Fashion Commission, and in collaboration with Caring, for our efforts towards sustainability. And we got to go to Paris, and there was a big event that was happening there where, companies from all over the world were showcasing their innovations with sustainability, technologies. Very, very fascinating. And I see that, the government here is supporting that so much. If you look at Kaus, there's a lot of interesting sustainable businesses coming from there, and technologies. I saw that there's like materials that are being made from the natural environment here. That's so cool. It's really interesting, and it's really fascinating. And if they're creating this agenda from now, where are we going to be in 10 years?
Yes, exactly.
So it's very like amazing to be part of this movement, and being a part of that conversation that's happening. And I'm excited.
I think
to see where it's
sustainability is very
going.
important these days. And as you said, I think they're more aware, people are more aware of it. And the younger generation, I noticed that.
That's for sure.
In my daughter's school, they had a topic about sustainability, and they were talking about how all these, like, as you said, the materials that are being, like, that we wear, or the products that we wear, and how you buy something that's sustainable and that's not made in, like, a bad environment, or saving just the planet and saving, the environment is really important.
I mean, how does it feel for you, when you buy something that is better made or locally made?
Exactly.
It feels much better, right?
Yes, of
so
course.
why not continue doing something that feels good?
Yes, that's true.
There's like a good value system that comes from thinking this way. And I think it's amazing that it's really being communicated across.
And it's happening here. Yes. Okay, do you think people here are buying pre-loved for sustainability or more for style and price?
I think, honestly, it's about the piece.
Yes.
It's about the piece. And, there's different factors that go into it, like you've mentioned. But it is more about that piece. Is it affordable? And then sustainability comes in as a extra factor of joy for the consumer buying. Look, there are some people who this is their lifestyle, and they will just go for that more sustainable option to get the things that they want. But I would say majority, it's about the piece and the style and the price.
Price. And I'm sure, as you said, maybe some pieces that they cannot find anymore in the stores.
Of course.
And they're like collectible items, or something that, because I think I do remember, my friend, she had like pieces that were not even like, you can't find them anymore. So I'm sure they're unique pieces that you cannot find. So that's where I think Amused comes. It gives us like really like specific collectible items, special ones that you cannot find in the stores anymore.
Absolutely, that's it. We're creating this platform and accessibility to amazing items, whether that accessibility is based on the price or the uniqueness of the item. That's what we're here to do.
And I think honestly, I'm going to say maybe both sustainability and for the price and the piece,
Yeah.
I think it comes like together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sustainability, it's such a broad term. Making something accessible to yourself from the price is something that could be looked at sustainably as well. That's sustainable for you, that's a sustainable way for you to keep up the lifestyle that you want, and be able to do all the other things that you want to as well.
Yeah, that's true. You have so many items in the closet. Why just keep them? So just, and maybe some people want these items,
Of course,
I remember also this concept of, I was thinking about like how many, because as a stylist, I get a lot of, pieces from designers and from like brands, local brands and international brands. So I'm like, I just wear them for the occasion or for the photo shoot. And they're honestly, they have tags. So I'm like, I should make use of these items and just like, maybe resell them or just give them. I know sometimes I do give away a lot of items I have, but I mean, do you also include fashion items like clothes?
So when we started, we tested out all different types of fashion items. But as a small company, we decided to focus on
the handbags. Yeah.
Focus on handbags. They were the fastest moving. They were not size specific.
Exactly.
There was a lot of, we decided we really wanted to become experts in something.
Yeah.
And,
and you want to specialize in one, like, as you said, because I mean, when it comes to fashion, you have a lot of things.
Exactly.
You have jewelry, you have fashion, you have even belts, you have accessories, high-end brand accessories, even jewelry.
Yeah.
So I think it's really broad. Yeah.
Yeah. So we are focused on handbags. We have jewelry. We have accepted watches as well. But we're really specific about what we accept because we also want to make sure we can guarantee authentication on those pieces as well.
That's true.
So we are, as the authentication technology and experts become, it grows as an industry because resale is, growing so fast. Resale in other parts of the world is overtaking traditional retail as fast as it's growing. So, the more that there is these tools that are coming to support this growth, then we can also bring them in and expand.
Yeah, of course.
Again, we're a small team, so we want to make sure.
I'm the first one who's going to come and give you my
fashion
dresses and all these lovely pieces from designers, honestly.
I mean, look at the Met Gala that just happened. They're all, a lot of the celebrities are wearing archival pieces.
Yes,
and we're just like, wow, these are some of the pieces have so much history in them.
Exactly. Yes.
They're using the Met Gala to showcase those items. And I see that's a little bit of what Amused is doing as well.
Yeah. That's amazing, really. Yes, that's true. Okay, let's now talk about business and growth. What were the biggest challenges of building this kind of business in Saudi market?
I see that when we first started, fashion, it wasn't an industry that was taken very seriously from the commercial value perspective.
Okay. Yes.
So looking for investors has been very tricky. And, that's not, I don't blame them because there were no examples of success, let's say, locally. Like there was amazing IPOs happening with food tech companies like Jahez and, these sorts of businesses, Uber, Kareem's, but fashion, there were no kind of benchmarks, even though that it's happening around the world. So I think finding investors has been challenging because now we have waiting lists and we cannot fulfill a lot of the inquiries, and that keeps me up at night,
Okay.
honestly, because I'm so excited by what I see, you know, and I want to support everyone. I want to get everyone buying or selling pre-loved, you know. So I see that that was a challenge, but we also, on the other hand, you know, we had amazing governmental programs to support us. We got early stage investment from 500 Sanabel VC. And, you know, from almost day one, we've had the support of this Fashion Commission. I don't know where that would happen anywhere else in the world, but you know, because our business is new, finding those experts to support us locally, it was really challenging as well.
I think it's challenging, but it's also something really exciting, as you said, because it's a new concept here, and I'm so happy about the Fashion Commission, because I think they are focusing on sustainability and being conscious, also in the fashion field. You know how it is.
Yeah. I mean, the CEO. Burak, he came from the sustainability. He was, you know, that was his background. I think it was for Gap, you know, so that was always going to be embedded. And with the policies and the Vision 2030, that was something that was very important to them. So, I mean, look, just building a startup or building a business is very challenging.
Yes, I'm sure. But I think these challenges are rewarding now.
Of course.
Yes, I'm
it's
sure.
all about your mindset.
Yes.
But at the beginning, you know, or still as an entrepreneur, I feel like I'm a firefighter. I feel like I'm just putting out mini fires here, there, and trying to, you know, do better. If I make the processes better, then it's going to have good results. So it's always just about being able to handle it, you know, with those challenges and the mindset around how are you going to tackle those challenges. So I think like I said earlier, you know, I've always had this attitude where I don't take no for an answer. And, you know, my
That's really good. I feel you're so committed and so consistent, which is very important, honestly, Sara. This is so important. I'm sure you know that to also sustain your business, you have to be committed, you have to be consistent. So
you can see that because, mashallah, you're one of the first Saudi stylists. There had to be a lot of perseverance and grit that you had to have to keep going. You know, you were in fashion long before I was here. I mean, how did that look like for you, that journey?
It was challenging, but it's rewarding, alhamdulillah.
Yeah, of course.
It is challenging. And you have all these, as you said, maybe fashion, like maybe 10 years ago was different, but now it's becoming, you know, the fashion scene is changing a lot and it's evolving in Saudi, which is really good, you know, also with the vision and with the Fashion Commission. I'm so glad, you know, it's finally.
Yeah.
Okay, so how about the social media? Let's talk about social media. So it does make a huge role here. So how did this impact your growth?
Social media is a very important channel of marketing. We all need to consider it if we're trying to sell a service or a business. I don't see that it can exist without it.
I mean, sorry to interrupt you. Anyone asks you, do you have your social media accounts? Do you have an IG account? Everybody's like, now you have to be there. So
so it's really important. It's a way to communicate your message to like a mass audience. You can create paid advertising through these channels. It's a way to engage with the audience and finding that content to create and grow that community around it. I think it's been challenging for us because it's a new concept and idea, and we have to explain it a lot, you know, and we have to make sure the values are seen in the content pieces that we do. And I'm not a content creator by nature. I'm not really that kind of a person, but I also see that it's important to grow trust with the audience and be there to represent your business. And
and
it's
as you said, Instagram now, and not only Instagram, we have a lot of, you know, social media. We have TikTok, we have Snapchat. So now social media is actually a tool to make people and aware about Amused, about your business and about this concept. I mean, especially here in Saudi, and social media here is like something so big. So I mean, this is a good opportunity also for Amused.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I remember like one of the first events we displayed at was Jibna al-Eid in Ramadan.
Okay.
And it was this time when people would just, that first day when we were exhibiting, people would just come by and they would be like, are these, you know, grade 1 copies that you're showing?
Yes.
And then, you know, we'd have to keep explaining it. And by the end of the first day, I was like, you know, I'm feeling challenged here.
Yes,
the next day, Lama Agil, she came by and she reposted and she took some content and she shared. And I remembered like instantly, all of a sudden, people started to come past and come by and say,
that's a good awareness. Yes, I'm sure.
It was so powerful. It just shows you how powerful, you know, these mediums really are to reach people.
Yeah. But I'm so glad that we do have social media now and that we can aware people about a specific, like, you know, about your business, about a concept, which is very important, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so how about which kind of pieces sell the most in your store? And are Saudi customers more into luxury, vintage, or everyday wear? I think they're into everything.
Yeah, this is what I see as well. I see that it's really a variety. I would say there is a favorite brand. It's Louis Vuitton.
Yes.
That is the piece that we sell the most, that brand. And
why is it Louis Vuitton?
Yeah.
Why do you think so?
I think there are different factors. One is the accessibility from the price point. And then the durability of those items, that canvas that they use.
It is a classic, by the way. So it's like you never go wrong with it. Yes.
Yeah, for sure. It's a piece that will
it's
stay
timeless,
with you for a long time. It's well made. You know, I think it's a great everyday piece as well. So I see that it's that. With regards to the brand, I would say also, of course, you know, flat bags and those types of Chanel pieces are also favorites. You know, Hermes, honestly, Hermes Birkins.
Yes, Hermes, I'm sure.
Yeah, when we get one of those, you know, in stock locally, they go pretty quickly.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So, yeah.
And also, as you said, Chanel, I noticed because I have my mom and my aunt, they were like the Chanel ambassadors. That was like years back. And they used to have like these collectible items. I still have some of my mom's, but they were like, what? I think at that time, they were like, the most expensive bag was 5K reals.
Yeah.
And now you have it up to 25 and 30K.
Yeah.
So the price has gone like crazy. Though that's
definitely 25 to 30. I think even
more.
50,
Even more.
So just and they're not better made. You
they're
know,
not
I'm sure
made.
if I compare yours and the ones from the store,
exactly,
you know, they're not. That's kind of
it's sad. That's very sad. Yeah.
Yeah. So these are the best items to go for. Yeah. I mean, and those Chanel pieces, they're one of one. You know, those flaps, they're so unique. They will produce, they won't be produced again. These are the types of items to go
So you're going to have like a special piece, collectible item. So this is what makes a person unique. And as you said, you know, you want to feel unique and different. So that's why, honestly, when I go to, because in the summer I always go to UK, and I always look for these kind of stores, vintage items. Because I feel that when you wear a vintage piece, you feel so special.
You do.
You feel so unique. You don't find any other person, for example, you know, carrying that bag. So you have a specific, a special item that's unique and different. So why not, you know?
I love that. You're ambassador, huh? This is amazing. Yeah, thank you.
So let's go back to the Saudi customers or let's say in general, because I know now also men are into fashion.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say women, also men and women. Are they more into luxury or like vintage or everyday wear?
Is this regarding men or women?
It's in general. But do you feel like, let's talk about Amused. Do you feel like the most pieces that are like sold, are they like the luxury items or the everyday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would see that it's still mostly the everyday pieces that we're selling. those are the most items that we sell. And it makes sense. I mean, if I buy an item, I would almost want to be able to wear it every
exactly.
day.
Make use of it.
Yeah.
And you know what? Sometimes these everyday pieces, like handbags, you can dress them up or down. You can wear them at night.
Yes, of course.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you for the advice.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's where a stylist comes.
Yes, exactly. There you go.
Yeah. And another thing is now, because all, most of the women now are working, with the women empowerment. So they need all, to be fashionable like every day when they go to work.
Yes.
And at the same time, they maybe they don't want to pay that amount.
Of course.
So,
and your handbag is still very much, a status symbol of how well you're doing in many cultures.
Yes.
And, if you're working hard, why not treat yourself?
Exactly. Yes,
that's our
true.
version of like, maybe, for men, it would be a sports car or like,
exactly.
So why not? Why not? Like,
treat yourself?
Treat yourself.
Yes.
You work hard. I don't see anything wrong with it, especially if you're doing it with an item that will be an investment for you.
Exactly. Yes, that's true. Okay, let's now go to more like bold questions.
Okay, exciting.
Do you think fast fashion still dominates the Saudi market too strongly?
I think fast fashion is just globally dominating, and we're living in a fast culture in general.
Yes,
I ordered, a pizza the other day, and I was shocked it came in 7 minutes.
Wow.
Before I would, even if the place was close by, you'd be like, okay, you're gonna wait an hour or something.
Exactly.
Amazon delivers in 2 hours, and this is, to me, it's a reflection of society and culture all around the world. And again, with this social media kind of culture as well that we live in, people, I don't know why, but they don't want to repeat their outfits or feel like that item has been seen.
Yes, that's true.
So
going to this topic, because I had like an occasion like weeks ago, and one of the girls was wearing something and we want to take pictures with her, and she's like, no, please don't post the picture because I'm going to wear this dress again. I'm like, okay, just wear it again. Just style it differently. Okay, why? Why not?
Style it differently.
I mean, I always tell people who follow me, you can find me wearing that piece maybe like years, I can like repeat items. Why not? I mean, you have a lot of people who repeat items and repeat like outfits. I mean, sometimes people don't like, I don't know, this concept is a bit maybe too like challenging maybe.
But I think if you buy a well-made piece, then you would be happy to keep repeating it.
Yes.
Because that piece is timeless, and it can be worn in different seasons and different ways.
And you can style it different, I'm sure. I mean, even the dress, you can wear it differently. You can put a belt, you can have your hair in a different way. I mean, so I was just giving her tips. So I noticed that, I mean, fast fashion, that's why maybe we have all these like websites and all these like,
Yes,
people just go online and shop, and as you said, they can just deliver it in the same day or next day or
but also, like we just said, the cost of luxury items or better made items, they're becoming very expensive as well. So I understand why people go to fast fashion, but at the same time, if you do some research, you can see that you have options to still get the pieces that you want without necessarily paying that huge price tag for them. So, I think it's a mindset and a practice that you have to adopt as a habit, right?
Yes,
If you start looking at different ways to do things, you're going to get different results, and you'll end up with a closet of like great pieces, and it's a piece, and you style around that item.
Me as a stylist, I always tell my clients, just invest in like classic, timeless pieces, and like invest in them, buy good brands, and then they just keep them in the closet. And whenever you have an occasion, you can style them, differently.
Yes.
So
exactly. And I think there's we live in a very high pressure society,
Yeah.
and the expectations are great on us. So I think I understand why
Yeah.
people do the things that they do, or
Yeah.
they consume the way that
And
they
not repeating
consume.
outfits.
Yeah,
But I mean,
get
did you see that
it.
article about? I had an article actually that I'm gonna send you the link.
Oh, yes.
It was about how like you have members from the royal family. Kate Middleton. She repeats outfits.
Yeah, she did a great job, but
I
like
loved the way she was
continuing
out
to.
there, and she's like, I mean, you have Kate Middleton who is repeating outfits, and like you don't want to repeat your outfits. I always tell that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay. Just repeat
For
outfits.
sure. Imagine how much access she has. Like, people must be sending her things all the time. But
Exactly.
she knows what suits her. You know, what
Exactly.
looks good. She changes up the shoes or the
Yeah,
hair,
yeah,
like
yeah.
you said, and it transforms and it
Yes,
becomes
yes, yeah, exactly.
something different. Yeah.
And I think this is also a message that she wants to send to like
Yeah.
which is, I think that's
Yeah.
very
Love that.
yeah, yeah.
Yes. I hope so.
yeah. That's really that's what I really like about that. You know, it's a message that you send, and I'm sure Amused is also sending a message to the like to people around here about your like, you know, about fashion, being conscious, being sustainable, being more aware.
Yes, of course. I think, you know, once customers buy from us and they go through that treasure hunt process,
Yes.
then going back to traditional retail feels a lot harder.
Yes.
Because you lose that like joy. You might have to wait for our items a bit longer, or there is a bit of a longer process, but it's like a delayed gratification, and it feels so much bigger, right?
Yes, yeah.
Than when you get something instantly and it's just so accessible. And I think people need to look at it like this
Yes,
as
yeah,
well.
exactly. That's
Yeah.
true. Would you say people here are truly ready to change their shopping habits?
I see that Saudi is going through a big time of change, and there's a lot of excitement and want to do things differently and to have different options available to them. And like I said, you know, this generation here is majority are very young, you know.
Yes.
So I think that youthful energy as well is very much about trying new things and being exposed
And you have the younger
to.
generation. I mean, here the population is more from the younger generation.
Yeah.
So you have a different mindset.
Exactly.
Yes,
Yeah. They're being exposed to things every day, all the time on social media or different channels, and they want to be able to experience it,
Exactly.
you know?
Yes,
So
yes.
a lot of ideas here. I feel now anything that is new is exciting. People want to
Exactly,
try
yes,
it.
yeah. And the culture is being more open to like more ideas, especially in the fashion industry. You have a lot of like, you know, as you said, it's a big movement now. It's sustainability and the vision, everything is helping. Yes,
Definitely. When I first started Amused, the customers would want to remain very private about the way that they are, buying or selling their items with us. Now, we go to events or the customers come and meet us and they're jumping on social media, giving a testimonial about how great it felt, their experience, and how happy they are with that item that they've got. So that just goes to show.
I think the secretive part is like, because I have some clients also, because you know how I have my social media and I post about my clients, but sometimes I have clients who I cannot post about them and I cannot post even their like the styling sessions or her before look and after. So I do understand the privacy thing.
Yeah.
Because our culture, it's all about, having your own privacy and you don't want to show. But now we have also people who are up to it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm sure it's like you have clients that are different.
Exactly. Yes, of course. There is always, different people that buy from us and enjoy our service. And I think that's what makes Amused so exciting. It's about learning how to communicate with everyone that wants to be involved in the platform and being able to support them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, let's have now a personal and real talk.
Okay.
What's one moment in your journey that really challenged you?
I don't see that it's one moment. I see
I'm sure you
that
have lots of
I
moments.
see that it's lots of moments. I think being an entrepreneur is a fast track personal development journey. So I think if you have mindset, you need to be able to adapt quickly, change.
Yes, yeah.
And that is hard,
Yes,
that's
it
really
is.
hard
Yeah.
to sometimes feel comfortable with. But this work keeps pushing you out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And the more pressure you can handle and the more you can try to become that problem solver rather than get kind of be brought down by the things that are going on,
Yes, yeah.
then the more successful you can be. And I'm so grateful for this journey. Yeah,
I'm sure. And they always say that. I remember my father once told me, when you're under pressure, you work better.
yeah, you focus.
Yes, you focus.
Yeah.
And another thing is, you always see the successful people. I mean, you can't be in your comfort zone always. So I'm sure every work has challenges.
Yes,
But as you
exactly.
said, it's what's rewarding at the end,
That's very true. They say pressure creates diamonds, right?
Yes,
That's how
yeah.
diamonds are made, this carbon pressure. And I think if you want to do amazing things and see and experience amazing things, you have to put yourself into those situations, and that's not
Yeah.
always easy. It comes with so many trade-offs. I'm always having to sacrifice certain things to be able to keep the business going.
I'm sure,
You have to choose, okay, I'm gonna do this and not do this, and it's hard to make those decisions.
And like, you can't be in your comfort zone, right?
Yeah, you cannot.
That's a word I always say
Yeah.
to my clients: comfort zone. Just get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Just get out of your comfort zone. Because you know how,
Yeah.
and as a stylist, I have lots of clients who are always in their comfort zone, and that's where I come to just take them out, just try different styles, like try different colors,
And what happens when they get out of their comfort zone? Tell me about what's that transformation?
I mean, I had a client who literally, she just sent me a voice note. She's like, I feel how people look at me. They're looking at me differently because she works.
Yeah.
And when she goes to work now, she has a different look, even with the abaya, what she's wearing under the abaya. So she's like, I feel so different. I mean, the people who work with me, they're like, what did you do to yourself? I'm like, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, she felt so better. Like, as you said, I mean, when you stay in your comfort zone, you just get too relaxed.
Yeah. And you want to feel that excitement.
Yes,
yeah.
and you want to feel different. You want to feel. So that's where I come in, like as a stylist, to help people, get out of their comfort zone.
Must be incredibly rewarding to see those transformations for you as well.
Yeah,
that's very cool. And I think it's always learning, right? We're here to learn, and I think these types of journeys.
I always tell them I always learn. I always learn from everybody, like around me, my clients, people I meet. Like it's very inspiring,
Yeah, I think that's why we connected. When we first met, I realized you had this incredible passion to keep learning and going and finding the information, not necessarily that it was in front of you.
Yes,
you would find it to empower you and to do better, and then bring it and then share it. And I think that's what entrepreneurship is, right?
Yeah, that's true. Did you ever doubt this idea would work in Saudi?
Again, I'm someone that doesn't take like
no
a no
for
an
an answer.
But what we're doing is not reinventing the wheel. It's something that works and has worked and has created, these billion-dollar companies in other parts of the world. So I didn't see that it's not going to work in Saudi, but I believe that we need to be able to create a business that supports what we want to do. And that's the hard part,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah.
It's not so much about the concept, it's about creating a business that really supports the customers and
Yes,
being able to grow and finding the ways to do that,
Yeah.
you know? So
And
it's
it's also
that
a
is
platform
hard.
for a lot
Yeah.
of people. I mean, for example, I'm a stylist. You have designers, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You have like people who are buyers. I used to. I told you I was a buyer before I became a stylist. So you have buyers, you have resellers, you have designers, you have stylists. So Sara, do you see potential for this concept to become mainstream here in Saudi?
I don't think it's about potential. I see that it is a mainstream for a lot of customers so far. We have customers that have bought from us now 7 times, and that's a big number.
Yeah.
And we've seen growth of 50% across a lot of key growth markers in the business, such as, you know, things like orders and revenue. And we've seen that we have a customer loyalty of up to 40%. It has gone up to 40% on some months, that's repeat customers. And I think that's the health of a business is shown from the number of repeat customers that you have and the customers that keep coming back to you.
That's something really good. I mean, customers and clients who come back to you, that's really great.
Yes, definitely. It's something that we actively try to nurture and support and be in contact with the previous customers. You know, we work a lot on that. And it's a great joy to see people come back. It's so rewarding. And I see now it's not so much about, again, the potential, but it's about creating the infrastructure to be able to grow and scale and support even more customers.
Yes. Great. That's very interesting. Okay. So let's have this last question with you, Sara. I mean, we have more to talk about, but let's make it this short. What advice would you give Saudi girls who want to start something unconventional in fashion?
Just do it. Just do it. Don't worry about anything. Don't overthink it. Just do it. Just see what is that first step you need to take, even if it's just an Instagram account, you know, just do it. Stay very close to your customers. Your customers are everything in your business. I regularly try to meet mine for coffee. That's how we met as well.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you were kind enough to share our business details with some of your friends, and your customers are what will drive, you know, everything in your business. So you have to really be close to them, see how you can support them, always be learning from them. And I think those are the 2 main things. I mean, just do it. Don't overthink it, and stay close to your customers. Don't worry about looking silly or making mistakes. That's what this journey is all about.
Yeah, that's true.
You make many mistakes, and then you know, from there you learn and you get better.
Always learn. I mean, life is always about learning, you know, so I love that. So just do it.
Just do it, as Nike says. But for sure, that's it.
Okay. Great. It was such a pleasure having you, Sara, here in Khutwa podcast. And I mean, I didn't have enough of all these questions. Honestly, I would love to ask you more and more. Maybe we can do part 2.
Yes, would love to.
Maybe we have a visit to your store.
Yeah, but we'll interview you instead this time. I think that'll be fun to learn about your experience.
It was great. Thank you so much, Sara.
You.
And thank you for being with